Yes, and hello, I'm Darth Leon, and well, I'm in this situation again, but thankfully, I'm in a more positive window. Yep. Back, back in my Mighty Number 9 review, in like a lot of quotation marks review, when I screamed at a microphone about Mighty Number 9. I started by saying that 2016 is going to be the year of disappointing video games, and that games that I should like are going to be bad. It appears that I'm going to have to retract that statement, as Monster Hunter was awesome. Phoenix Wright, the game I'm talking about right now, was okay. And Pokemon Sun and Moon is coming, but the outlook is positive. Phoenix Wright 6, The Spirits of Justice. Do not go away yet. There's going to be spoilers in the review, but they're not happening in a while. I'm going to put like a huge, on the screen, a huge spoiler warning, and it's going to remain throughout the entire thing. Slight spoilers about games 5 as well as 4 and previously. I'm assuming you've all played up to 4 and maybe haven't had access to number 5 yet, as well as Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright, which I'm going to slightly mention here. Unfortunately, I haven't played the great Saiban, Gyakuten Saiban, because it has racism, and apparently we're not allowed to have racism in America while we're allowed to have racism in Japan. Well, I suppose if you're racist towards yourself, it doesn't matter. So, spoilers up to 4, there's going to be slight spoilers up to 5, and when I do talk about even slight spoilers about 6, there's going to be a huge ass spoiler warning. Well, we stand in a place where for the first time in quite a while we had to say that while this game was great, it still is not the best of the bunch, because while Phoenix Wright 6, pretty good. Like, if I had to give it a grade, it'd be a 7. And 7 would be Life is Strange without the final choice. Or, by comparison, Phoenix Wright 5, the Dual Destinies, is a 9. The Ace Attorney Investigations is an 8 in my heart, but it's a little 7 as well. The Professor Layton is as well a 7, but it's in my heart. And when it comes to reality, Apollo Justice is a 7, but in my heart it's a 5. The original trilogy would go as 6, 6, 8. And the reason it's 668 is because these games have moved on a lot. If I were to review them back in the day where the only games existing were Phoenix Wright 1, 2 and 3, it would be a 768. Maybe even a 9. Phoenix Wright 3 was amazeballs. Maybe even a 9. However, technology has moved on, we have more mechanics, and admittedly, things were great. Things are great. I'm not going to lie. However, Phoenix Wright 5 was so freaking good. It was great. It was excellent. It was the best Phoenix Wright we could have. It had great animation styles, the new models were beautiful, the stories were amazeballs, there was not a single bad trial in it. A single one. They were all awesome. The new storyline mechanics were awesome. And of course the 2D animation by A1 Pictures, pretty good. I'm not going to lie, A1 Pictures, as much hate as we give them about things like Sword Art Online and the Persona 4 movie or anime, which I enjoyed, right? I enjoyed that. Their animation style is fine, it's great, it's beautiful. And the animation in 5, there were a lot of animation clips. I think they were around the range of 30 to 40. Phoenix Wright 6 has 11. And admittedly, some of them not as good. In Ace Attorney 5, the animation were grand and they were used for practically anything. Difference is, Ace Attorney 6 has beautiful 3D animation, and there were a lot of things that were really well done in it, and I have to admit it. There was a point when Phoenix Wright has to run in on the court where he throws the goddamn door open in 3D animation, full 3D animation, and he points to the judge. That was great. And there was also a dancing scene where the 3D animation takes place, but it takes full effect, I guess. Beautiful as fuck. However, there were also times when they were on the court and they were doing like fully powered objections and stuff, and they were presenting powerful evidence. You know, you've seen the anime, or if you haven't, like, skip the first part and watch only the second game. It gets fucking hilarious at that point. That's my review about the anime. Season 1, Season 2, amazing. So when the 3D animation takes that, no, it's stilted, and if I was watching actors doing that, I'd say they were overacting. So there needs to be a better balance, and I get that they did not want to take the court feeling away, and I'm not sure how to fix it. I will admit it. I can only say that it is unbalanced and that it needs to be fixed somehow. I can't fix it. I do not know enough about 3D animation and about I guess game design. I'm sorry, but it's not right. The story, however, the story is beautiful. I'm going to say it's beautiful. Still, Ace Attorney 5 was better in it once again, and with the exception of the 5th case, which I'm not spoiling yet, it's probably one of the hypest things in the Ace Attorney universe ever. And I have to say that the 5th case of Ace Attorney 6 is probably the best case in the games. I could be wrong. Things that come close to it would be the final case from Ace Attorney 3. I mean, obviously. And nothing else. Like, it's that good. The final case of 2 was a kidnapping. The final case of 1 was the Von Karma case. Nothing comes close really. So if you're going to put the best cases of all the games together and who has the best case, it really comes down to Ace Attorney 3 versus Ace Attorney 6. And I think it's because they're supposed to be the ends of trilogies. However, it doesn't feel like Ace Attorney 6 is the end of a trilogy. It's the end of one story, but it's not the end of a trilogy. Something is missing. I'm going to come back to it later. However, until you get from case 1 to case 5, the stories are mixed. Because Ace Attorney 3, my comparison, Ace Attorney 3, just the whole thing was one big thing, with the exception of the Masked one, and even that had some bearing with the rest of the things. The Mask case, like Ace Attorney 3 took a bunch of storylines from Ace Attorney 1 and the second case from Ace Attorney 2 and the I think something about the final case, but it was minor. Yeah, the kidnapping of Maya Fey and how much Maya and Pearls are connected. It takes all of that and it just blows it in one game. Here, it tells two different stories that are supposed to be interconnected at the end. And the big problem with how they make the stories is the huge tone shifts in the story. To the point of... And alright, so I'm going to put the huge spoiler thing now and going to remove it back in a sec, but those are like minor spoilers. So what say do not leave if you do not mind like minor spoilers. The first case is about murdering a super important not murdering, stealing a super important artifact that a whole religion is based on. A whole religion is based on that. And the second case is about Lucy Wright's magic show. I mean, do you see this? Like, no. You went from taking the first episode of Steins Gate and then giving us the second episode of Pokemon. No. Do not. Pick a tone, like Phoenix Wright 5 took one single tone and it was dark. People die and it's in 3D. And everybody hates lawyers. Everybody. And like the opponent is a prisoner. The prosecution is a prisoner. The system is so broken down that the defense is a guy that has cheated on the court and the opposition is a person that killed somebody and is on death row. The tone was dark. Phoenix Wright is like, nah. Phoenix Wright 6, nah. Oh. I'm going to take super serious stories and I'm going to take comedy stories. They don't stick. Pick a tone, and if you want to have those comedy storylines, either put them on the DLC. By the way, I'm sorry I haven't played the DLC, no money. Or I don't know, put them first. Or make them darker, or make the other storylines lighter. Pick and choose. Game mechanics. And here there's nothing to spoil. So if I had to say that every game mechanic ever returns in Phoenix Wright 6. Plus we add some. Would you take that as a negative? So there was a lot of great and some of not that great game mechanics here. For example, we still have the Cyclops, which has gotten old and pointless. We have Apollo Justice's I think, where he can tell when somebody is lying and he can see the ticks. Admittedly, I love that, and there was not enough of that in 5, and even though it was the main mechanic of 4, I liked it, alright? And we also get back the object identification and fingerprint database from Ace Attorney 4. And we also get the mood matrix, Athena's mood matrix from 5. Plus the new mechanic of the seances, which is I'm going to talk about it in a second. So, as far as I'm recalling, the Cyclops were used once, the fingerprints were used, I think, twice, and the first time I was looking for fingerprints, it took me about 20 minutes to find them, because the object was huge and I had the camera of a fucking like matchbox and all the dust would not come out. And I would be looking, oh no, it's gonna be here because the dust is not coming out. Nope, the dust just did not want to come out of the place I put it, even when I was blowing. It was buggy, and the object was too big, and fingerprints were on places that they shouldn't be. And the second time it was fine. The second time it was a small object and still the dust was not coming out. It was a wash. That game mechanic was no. The mood matrix appears as many times as it needs to, and it's used historically right. I think it's either 3 or 4, and I like the mood matrix, so good job. It's all I have to say. It did take like second fiddle. No. And I think appears a bunch of times, but that's with good reason. I'm going to say it later. The new mechanic, the Seance Visions, probably the best and smartest idea they had for a while. It's also historically correct. Like, it makes sense in the story of the game. Basically, if you had to put a GoPro to the victim and then you just saw the last things the GoPro recorded, it's that. And I'm sorry. You also get to talk about this with the opposition, and it's like video footage, but from a dead person. That's all I can like, that's all the things I can give you together. I really liked it, I admit, and the controls of it were great, because it could have been fucking bad. You get all the senses from the sense, and the mystery is given to you through the sense. Very good. That's a good, and that's a huge thumbs up. Plus, I really like camera footage in Ace Attorney, and that's all I can say without giving away spoilers. So before I go, Ace Attorney 5 had great music, Ace Attorney 6 had the same music. I think they just took the previous cornered story and they just redid it. The models are great, like last game and like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney versus Professor Layton. The 3D is pointless, but you can turn it on for chords and you're going to be fine, you're not going to hurt. But again, it doesn't really matter. As opposed to really looking good in the Professor Layton game. And I'd say that's about it. Before I send you off on being a completely spoiler thing, I wanna talk about the fourth case of this game. And the fourth case of this game is rubbish. It's probably it's in the top 3 worst cases, or like it could be 5, but no, it's definitely 3. I cannot remember a case that I hate with such passion. Let's talk about the bad cases of other games. Phoenix Wright 5 did not have one. Phoenix Wright 4, Ace Attorney 4 had, I'd say the last one. Plus, I think the third one, because I can really not remember it. The 3 had the one with the restaurant, but it was also kind of story important, so I guess that would be like the 5th worst. Ace Attorney 1 had the one about the cinema and the Hollywood and the studio thing, which you had to walk up and down, up and down, up and down. And Phoenix Wright 2 had the one about the circus, which tried to be funny and it wasn't, plus most of the characters were too bizarre even for a Phoenix Wright game. Phoenix Wright 6 has the third one, the fourth one, sorry, which sucks. So about halfway through the development of the game, they probably realized that Athena Sykes, the main character from the previous game, did not have a single case in the game. And they were like, no, we got to give you something. We got to give you something. I'm sorry, my mouth gets dry. We have to give you something, and it needs to be a whole thing. And then they gave it to the intern that just came in and has barely played through Ace Attorney, the original trilogy. Like he probably saw, he probably had a guide next to him, and he had to write a story after playing those first 3 games while also having a guide. And then he forgot his own story halfway through, and he decided to give another ending to it. He also has a problem with clocks. He's always late but also early when he needs to be on time, and he's not good with clocks. So this person, this intern, was asked to write a case about Athena Sykes, for Athena Sykes, and here you go. Go ahead, we have case 5 to write about. We don't have time. You do it. No, we need you to do it. Do it. You can. You've played Phoenix Wright 3, right? Yeah. Do it then. You can. So that kid, that intern, wrote the Rakugo Turnabout, the case 4 of Phoenix Wright 6. and he fucked up. So the powerful, opinionated, strong-willed, brave, and okay, she had some problems, but this super cool girl that's in courts from 19 years old is now a baby, cannot put two and two together. There were a bunch of times where I was like, no, I can fix this problem. Get out of there. Give me widget. I will solve this mystery by myself. Stop talking. Stop talking. She was like, so how do I solve this part? And we had to discuss everything about each piece of evidence. And it was like, so do you have evidence that the guy was stabbed? He was not stabbed. There was not even a knife. This guy was stabbed with this knife. And it's like, do I have this evidence? And then the prosecutor would go, no, you do not have this evidence. And she's like, oh, I maybe not have this evidence. And then her helper is just show a piece of evidence. And then she's like, maybe I could show one piece of evidence. And then the judge says, so Athena Sykes, which piece of evidence do you want to show? And she's like, how about this? And then the evidence box will come out. Now imagine this about every piece of evidence in the whole case! It sucks. And not to even be truthful to you, like the helper spoils the whole thing for you. He has a cow in the fight, and he gives you puns about the solution. I'm not even lying to you. There's no other way. Like, back to the whole stabbing theory, which again, there's no stabbings. Do not worry, it's not a spoiler. But if, let's say, I had to showcase something that was like a knife, let's say a needle, like a really long needle. I'm just coming up with these things, right? So the helper of Athena Sykes would be, I don't know, maybe there's a huge point to all this talking, and you would be like, okay, I know what could be also a knife, I get it. And he would always do this. You're literally treated like a baby. Also, case 4 of this game takes the route of case 4 from Phoenix Wright 3. You know, where there's no... you just go directly to the trial, and there's no investigations, and you just get evidence from the opposition and everyone that comes up. And that's what kind of happens here. And the difference is that Mia Fey was awesome, and she was treated like a smart person who was supposed to be defending people, and that was her job. And that was also her first fighting case, mind you. And Athena Sykes, a woman that has won every single case before her. Sure, she's 19, alright? She was in Germany or wherever, and she was studying fucking psychology, and she has a bunch of psychology degrees and a law degree. While she was 18, she's fucking smarter than Apollo Justice, who admittedly is not the smartest and like the sharpest tool in the shed. He's smart. she's smarter than fucking Phoenix Wright. She's smarter than Mia Fey, because Mia Fey also was like in her 20s, late 20s when she got her law degree. Smarter than fucking what's his name, Edgeworth. She's smarter than fucking Von Karma, who had her law degree when she was 13. When she was 13, she had 2 psychology degrees and she was working on law degree. So this woman is treated like a fucking baby. She's called a little chicken, and the problem is she acts like one too. If everybody was like, no, you're just a little baby, and she is like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong, I'm going to win this case, and then she takes like 50 minutes to think about a single piece of evidence. Just throw that shit confidently and you win the fucking case. She gets stressed out for no fucking reason, because I think we solved that problem in Ace Attorney 5. Thank you very much. She won 2 cases in that shit. And then yeah, I didn't like it. So I suppose I got some screaming in. You probably got what you wanted. I'm going to talk about the good things in Ace Attorney 6, which is mainly the story. So I might have to beat you, I do, most of you. So tada on the huge spoiler warning. So if you do not stick around, see you guys next time. It's slightly spoilery, not big things will be given, but I can understand not wanting to get huge clues about what happens. So I'm assuming you've left, everybody that does not want any spoilers left. And I'm probably talking with people that already have played the game or have watched a playthrough of it. And I gotta say, how fucking cool is the case 5, right? You know what I'm talking about. The 5th case, and you probably know, I don't have to like tell you. The game goes from, I mean, alright, we had a Phoenix Wright sequel and it's okay. It goes to, no, everything, take everything, take The Rock versus John Cena versus The Undertaker all together, take them, it's the main event of WrestleMania. Oh no, it's not even the main event, like, I don't know, the future, like, Seth Rollins catches in and you have to fight him as well. It's hype as shit. It's the fight versus Phoenix Wright versus Apollo Justice comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's the best thing ever. And all the self-doubt that comes from everybody, yeah, pretty good. My only problem is that Maya was kidnapped again. Why was Maya kidnapped again? There was no need. And the like big plot twist in the middle of the second day, the second trial. God, that was so depressing. I know I'm just gushing over it. It's just a clue again. I'm not going to give that far away, but even if you hear that clue, when you get close to it, you will get what I'm talking about. It's so sad, yet it's so sad because we haven't seen it before. And the reason we haven't seen it before is because this plot twist and the way it's done and the way it's given can only happen in the Phoenix Wright universe. There's no other universe that can have that. There's no other universe that interlays paranormal and the court of law and murder mysteries all together so that you can have this ending. And it made me tear, right? And I have to admit that because there's like 2 games that did this before that. One of these games was it was Professor Layton 3, or I guess 6 now. The original trilogy, the third one. The final answer that made me sniffle. I have to admit it. And fuck, I cannot remember the other one. It's the third, it's the third game that does that to me. And like, I'm talking, my heart hurt a bit. And the fact that Ace Attorney 6, Ace Attorney, the game that, like, the series that, not even 2 games before, 2 fucking cases ago, we were talking about a magic show, again with the ups and downs in the tone. In the very same game, it has such a depressing thing. And again, it's probably the fact that we're not sanitized. We haven't seen this a lot. That makes it so depressing, because it's impossible to have this in another universe. It's only in the Phoenix Wright universe. Only. And that's probably the biggest praise I can give this. Make this game from a 6 to a 5, not to a 5, to a 7. Maybe if I can even to give it like an extra half point for it, because it fucking hurts, dude. It fucking hurts. Other than that, the scenes and the whole storyline around it, pretty smart. I really liked it because it actually goes to the next logical danger for Phoenix Wright, because yeah, you're now putting your own life on the line. You're literally going to be executed if you lose, and we only put faith in this one thing, and you just like, it's the whole storyline of it is smart. And the fact that they went from having Apollo Justice be a secondary character, and he was almost a secondary character in his own game, because let's say the truth, he was kind of a puppet between the fight of Phoenix Wright and I think his name was Christoph Gavin, but I may be giving the other prosecutor instead of the real guy. And I guess that's how his storyline ends. Maybe we will get another, like, maybe the games will split in half, but I'd be against it. I'd say let Apollo Justice, give Apollo Justice his Maya Fey treatment for a little while. Just let him grow a little bit for like 5 years, and then come back as a full grown and a full man, instead of the guy that it's kind of childish, but he's also super serious at times. He did go down from his super seriousness from the previous game. I want to see a guy that when he is on the stand he's super serious, but when he's outside he's happy-go-lucky. And that could be Apollo Justice after clearing an entire legal system and creating an entire lawyer generation. Because let's say the truth, that's what happens with Phoenix Wright in Ace Attorney 5. And since he finished his own story, I think Apollo Justice should also do that, but he should do it by himself. Maybe we should be around to see it, but I'd say bring back Phoenix Wright in the main guy storyline and fix Athena, and then go back to Apollo, because Apollo is made. Apollo is a man, and I'm glad for him, and maybe only give us spin-offs over the Seance thing with him, because he's cool. He's finished, his storyline is finished, and they even said that they're going to, in the end they said that, hey, we're going to tell Trucy and Apollo about their mother, and no further spoilers over it. And I'm also happy that the whole Trucy Wright and Apollo Justice shipping is going to end in universe. Thank God. It's probably the most disgusting thing in, like, they were doing it, they were kind of doing it, like, right, they were kind of doing it, especially with the fifth case, where I'm not going to go too much details on who and what. They were kind of doing it, and it was disgusting. And because I have two little sisters, I have like zero tolerance over it. So maybe bye over that, and I don't know, give him Athena or the other chick. I mean, I feel they're more better together. Why am I even talking about it? I'm glad that's gonna end, and I'm glad Apollo is finished with his storyline. I guess that's the end of this trilogy, even though he was not that big of importance in the previous game. Also, the fact that his past is always retrofitted. Alright, I'm going to let it pass, just so that we can move on. Alright, we can move on and be glad that the story was beautiful as fuck and depressing as fuck, and that there's no other. I think the storylines peaked there. Maybe we will get something even sadder and more, yes, deep and emotionally confusing. I think the game peaked at that. Yeah, I think I'm done here. The game was fun, depressing, too fun and too depressing at times. The fourth case sucked, and there's, I don't know what to do about it. It's case 1 and 3 great together. Case 2 pretty likable, I have to say. It's not something to write home about, but it's a good one. Yeah, good job. Good job. So I'm probably going to see you guys at Pokemon Sun and Moon. See you guys then. That's it. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.